There's a lot of things that go into it. You can think just back to our first drive. We had a nice drive, moved the ball, got it in the red zone. We had two nice third down conversions. We don't convert the one in the red zone, end up kicking a field goal. Then I think the next 5 third downs we didn't convert, and so that's where you start having issues of not getting enough plays, and then long drives on the other side, so the clock's running. So it all. It all kind of goes hand in hand. There's, it's not just, one thing that, ends up with 10 runs or 10 to Marshawn.
What was the most disappointing aspect of the offensive performance for you guys?
Well, there's a lot of things. Obviously not scoring enough points to win the game, and that's the bottom line for us on offense. But the biggest thing was just our overall execution. Again, I know it sounds too simple, but there was a lot of things for us that we didn't do well enough. Whether it was throwing the ball on time, throwing. He said he was off a little bit. There's a couple of times we could catch the ball for him. Protection was off. There was a couple of times in the run game, somebody goes the wrong way. And on offense, if you don't have all 11 guys working as one, and everybody doing the right thing at the right time, you can have some negative plays, and you can have plays that don't go anywhere. That starts to set you back, and then third down, we didn't convert on those, and that was kind of the story.
They really shut down Percy. Was that more what they're doing defensively, or was it where you're talking about the execution, or maybe a block on this?
Yeah, I think it was our overall execution. You can talk about the first bubble throw we threw to him. Jermaine's got a decent block there on the edge. Trying to cut the guy, but the ball ends up being behind him on the throw. He has to spin around, takes his eyes away. We run right into the block. For example of that. Then a couple things in the run game here and there. And then they just, they make for plays that didn't look very good. You can go back weeks before, and they're great plays. So it's overall execution. There's not one thing. I can do a better job. I can get us into some better situations. We can run the ball more, like everyone's asking. All those things, but there's overall execution is really what it comes down to.
Obviously, you've seen Percy get the ball around the line, spends a lot of screens and handoffs. What are his strengths as a receiver working down the field and being one of those intermediate lines?
Well, we know he's got speed. We know he can go down the field with speed. He's got great quickness. So we can use him in that. But the test always is to making sure some of those guys get the ball in their hands. They're such game breakers, whether it's Marshawn, whether it's him, and some of those plays make it easier to get them the ball and make sure that that they're in the stat sheet. He had a play that can impact the game. Sometimes you put a guy just at wide out. I'm watching the Rams play Dallas, and there's two guys standing over the top of Dez who are just going to take him away, and that can happen. So to ensure that doesn't happen, we try to do some things to make sure we can get the guy that touches.
You saw in Washington, Percy's long touchdown that night, knocked both back, and he said you guys had a couple of times you would like to give him the ball. Either see him or whatever. Would it be fair to say you guys would like to kind of use Percy a little bit more down the field than what we've seen?
Yeah, I want to use all our guys. You can go to the 3 games you win. You're up in the 60 plays. The 2 games you lose, you're in the 40 plays, and just not enough. All our guys are very talented, and we want to have all of them involved. I hate to get out of the game, and some guys have the 0 in the stat sheet. But sometimes that's the way it goes. But all those guys are very talented. We can use any of them. Do we want Percy to get the ball every way we possibly can? I think it's obvious because we're trying to do things to get him the ball. We've run him down the field, as you're talking about on the play for the touchdown. I got called back. But the same thing with a lot of other guys, with Doug and Jermaine. With Luke, we thought Luke could have a nice opportunity as well. And, then Marshawn, usually that's the easiest way to get it to him is just by turning around and handing it. And we didn't do it enough.
Some people look at it as, is it hard to get
everybody the ball, and is there a problem there of trying to get everybody the ball?
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, it's a tough orchestration of the whole thing. They're really not trying to keep everyone happy. When we're happy is because we won. I mean, that's what the bottom line is. That's where every guy's going to be happy and understand. But there's so many guys with so much talent. We're trying to use them the best way that we can. We do want to get them all involved in some way, some way or another. But I've said it before. We've come out of games where a guy has 0, and then the next game he has 7. And we just kind of got to roll with that. And sometimes that's just the way it goes with how the defense is playing us and, where the balls go that time.
You guys look at a long clock in the back of your head that says Marshawn only has X number of carries at certain points of the game. Can you feel that as a play caller?
Yeah, I can feel it, and I know exactly how many runs we have. You take all the third down plays out. We were really balanced just in run pass, and that's if you just put every single situation in there. If you start taking some of the 2 minutes out, we had a couple more runs than we did passes. It just didn't have enough. There's just not enough plays. Now some of those runs, some of them were Percy runs and those things. Some of the runs end up being a pass, as it's built in. So. But I keep track of how many runs, just, how many times we've run the ball. And we know most of the time they're Marshawn, but not all of them are. But so I have a good feeling.
It's just, like you said, it's not as easy to turn and hand the ball based on situation down and distance. But in some cases, would it be helpful to the entire team, not just the offense, but the defense, to be off the field more and just hand it to Marshawn and see what happens?
Well, yeah, it's easy to do that. We can go run. But if you go run, and you get 6 and 3, and it's still third down. You still have to convert on third down to get more runs and to keep the defense off the field. So there's, like I said, there's a lot that goes into it. But third down has been a problem for us, and we've got to do a better job of converting in that area. Like I said, the first 2 was a great drive. It was one of the best drives of the day because we converted 2 third downs on it. But then you go 3 plays and out, 3 plays and out. It doesn't matter if you have 2 runs, 2 passes, a run and a pass, a pass and a run. If you don't convert it, you're short of plays.
Against Dallas, you guys third downs, so many of them were third and long. I guess the conversion rate wasn't very good, but were the bigger problems maybe on first and second down of just not being able to put yourself in the game?
Yeah, that's always key. We had, we only had 3 in the 3 to 6 range where we like to be, and most of them were in the middle and even longer. So that's definitely an issue as well.
So when playing for a second straight week, how much of a difference does that make, whether it's just the run game or overall execution on?
Well, he'll have more experience in there. We had a few false starts in the game as well that kind of set us back. But the communication will be better. He'll be that much more familiar with just the guys around him, the timing, the execution, things that we need. So it'll definitely be better.
How much do you hear the Joe public just say, they got to give Lynch the ball more? And you want to, is that part of your job? You understand that's part of the deal?
That's part of it, there's going to be cries for everything all the time, but the fantasy owners, I'm not a fantasy owner. I don't care about anybody's points, but I do care about us winning the game. And Marshawn's a huge key for us winning the game, and we do, and I do have to do a better job of getting the ball.
Doug said, and to use his words, he thought offensive performance against Washington was crap. a lot of it got overshadowed by the way Russell plays in the improv, and that he was disappointed that it wasn't fixed by the offense a whole lot. Do you agree with that, the way that you guys kind of played and taking the steps forward last week?
Well, I wouldn't, I mean, I would disagree that we didn't take any steps forward, but I mean, it was a totally different game, but Russell saved us in a lot of situations, but as we've talked about, I mean, Russell had a great game, but he had a great game running in the Washington game. We still could have done a better overall execution in the pass game. And there's a couple things that carried over, but there was some bigger issues that were going on in this last game that I would say that wasn't similar to that last game.
What are you saying? The Rams don't have the sacks with them. Pass the fact they're way down, but what do you see recently in what they do bring defense?
I think they're a scary defense. To look at that on the stat sheet and see that they only have one sack. I mean, if all you got to do is watch the tape. They have really solid players. Obviously, Robert Quinn, one of the best sackers in the game, and they've been all around the quarterback. I mean, they've played some tough quarterbacks, guys that can get out of them, with Kaepernick getting out of sacks, Tony Romo getting out of sacks. I mean, they've had their hands on guys, and they've had them near down, and, so that's that's kind of a crazy stat that they only have one, because they do a great job of getting pressure. They use the blitz with just about everybody on their defense to get pressure on the quarterback. So that's a huge assignment for us this week, is to be able to make sure that we protect our quarterback. Yeah. Well, we went there to their place before, and we didn't fare very well with Quinn and Long the last time. I know Long's not playing. But we're going to have to really be on it. I mean, they're really solid with the addition of Donald up front as well. They really can put pressure on the quarterback.
You talked about how frustrating it is that because of the roster, it feels like they could make a difference if we could just shoot each other. Is that an issue for you too about the roster really?
Yeah, we're always talking in conversation about it. We'd love to have those two guys up to help us. Doug and Jermaine, they do so much on special teams for us, and they worked so hard during the game, and you can't help but think they're getting overworked. And you'd love to have other guys with depth. I mean, Lockett steps in there, and B-Dub has to step in there at times. I mean, obviously Percy's going on special teams as well. If he returns the ball 50, 60 yards, I mean, he needs a play or two to catch his breath. We'd love to have those guys out.
Thanks, Coach.
All right.
Thank you.
Yep.